not really sure what I had hoped to accomplish. Oh! Howdy, folks! How are y'all doing? My name is Reese, and welcome back to another episode of the Minecraft 2025 Let's Play Adventure, where today is the day before the day you watched the day after you watched it. How clever is that? This is the build log for our first mega structure in the world, which is a giant cross that's going to be right over there. And it might not be as big as I had envisioned in my mind. I don't know yet. I haven't built it, but you've already seen it, because it would have been the featured presentation of the Easter special that went out yesterday. So today is the day after Easter, which is not an important day, I don't think. I don't think it has any sort of special significance or special title of any kind. Post-Easter Monday. You know how some holidays will have like a day after? Like the day after Thanksgiving is Black Friday, a celebration of commercialism and spending money that you don't have on things you don't need, you know? You have, in certain parts of the world, usually nations that are in some way descended from the United Kingdom, from the UK, from the old British Empire, they'll have Boxing Day, which I know nothing about other than the fact that people talk about having that the day after Christmas. The day after... Like, Halloween is, of course, the world-renowned, famed November 1st. Wait, no, it's All Hallows Day, isn't it? Because Halloween is the eve of All Hallows Day? Am I right? I don't know anything about All Hallows Day. I don't participate in such things. I'm trying to think of other holidays that have, like, a day after. You know what? The day after Christmas Eve, you get Christmas Day. So there's something, I guess. Oh, look at these guys. Looks like they're having a great time. Now, we could have just flown over here, and we didn't. And there's not really any particular reason for that, other than just I thought it would be nice. A nice, slow approach via boat. Somewhere in the sky, we have another player who is flying and capturing the actual build process, because I don't know if distant horizons and shaders all work with the... a replay mod, and I didn't feel like trying to figure that out, because we're actually really close to the wire getting this one recorded. Even though I've been planning this since March, I was like, I know what I want to do for Easter. I'm going to do a big mega cross. That makes sense to celebrate Easter. And I'll do like a reading of the story of Christ's, you know, death, burial, and resurrection. That would be a really nice one. That will really bring home the concept of the Christian Minecraft server, right? That we've been pushing towards all this time. That'll drive the meme home. And also just be a really nice thing to do. So I've been planning it for a long time, but it kind of crept up on me. You know, we lost our big lead because of Xenoblade Chronicles X's release. So the amount of time I had to work on this project very quickly appeared, right? And I had to start working on, like, okay, I'll expand the island, and then that way I can start growing trees, and I can have enough wood for this. And then I realized, oh, expanding the island's taking more time than I realized. Oh my gosh. Like, right up there, it's Little Bro Cub. Because that's the account that was signed in on the computer next to me, and was already configured in OBS. So, there we go. Little Bro Cub will be creepily watching over us. So, unfortunately, this structure is not going to be as big as I had wanted. But I did go through the effort of calculating how much wood we would need, and we have way more wood than what we need for what we settled on, if that makes sense, right? As soon as I realized this wasn't going to be a monstrous mega structure, I sort of settled on, okay, we'll make it 33 blocks high and maybe 10 blocks across. That seemed pretty appropriate to me. Maybe more like 12, so 6 on either side. You know what I completely forgot to get? Was scaffolding, and we will need scaffolding, and hopefully there is some in one of our other chests, like in one of our other shulker boxes. We'll check when we get up here, but we absolutely will need it when we get around to building the sides. But yeah, we have way more wood than we need for even that small a structure, so who knows, maybe in the future we do make this bigger, but in order to make it the actual size I wanted, which was all the way to the world build height, it would have required... And not look silly, not look way too small. It would have needed to be much, much larger. And we simply do not have the materials necessary for that. Now, I did sort of plot out exactly where I wanted this thing to be, which is going to be right up here. And in fact, I even put down torches in the exact shape that the cross is going to be built. So it's going to be 3 on all the sides, and then this 1 block here. And we could make it bigger, but we're not going to, because, hi, little bro cub. This is what I settled on. Do I want to start this build at night? I don't know. I'll tell you what we'll do. Because right now we are currently filming the time-lapse. I'm going to place these down and have a look inside of them. 42 scaffolding ought to be enough. But actually what I'm going to do is, now that I've gone through the effort of sailing over here on a boat for no reason, literally no reason at all for us to do that, I will now fly back to our island home. I will get more scaffolding. And then we'll fly back and maybe bring a bed, unless there's one inside of this red. I think there's actually one in either the red or the blue supply boxes. But then we can sleep and then start the build at sunrise with the sun in the background. I think that would be great. And it's also possible that it'll just take long enough, you know, the process of flying back and forth here, that by the time we get back, it'll be sunrise, but I don't think it's going to take that long. We've already cleared half the distance. I do like with distant horizons, it makes it look like our a pillar of light over there coming from the beacon is really far away, as opposed to coming out of this island. Like, it looks like it's beyond those mountains over there. As you get closer, you do start to see that it moves differently than the background, and then it just vanishes once you get kind of close enough for it to almost appear on the screen. But then it doesn't immediately appear on the screen, even when you're in sort of the loaded range, and it should definitely be there. You're in real chunks now. All of this is loaded in. By the way, I haven't checked this in a while, and I feel like I probably should, because it's just occurred to me that I haven't checked this in a while. It's fine. I did empty it out not all that long ago. Oh, by the way, something else. I mean, none of this has anything to do with the build project today, but I did figure out why it was. I didn't notice this pattern until I went to go edit, that these have more, or sorry, these have more than these by about twice as much. And I finally realized that, and I think the reason is how much grass is available to grow, right? So if you have the ones on the outside and the ones on the inside, so to speak. So the ones closest to us on the outside have 1, 2, 3 different grass positions that could potentially, at a random tick, grow into their area, allowing them to eat and produce wool. Whereas the ones back there only ever have 1 potential grass thing that could, on a random tick, grow grass. So the odds are lower for them. And it works out to about twice as more likely. Because as you can see here, you got just about 4 stacks, 1 stack. Just about 4 stacks, a stack and a half. 5 stacks, 2 and a bit, you know? So I would love to figure out how to get more grass more close to these guys, but the problem is the other 3 sides are all machinery. So there's really no way to do that. The only way I think I could fix this and make it equally efficient would be to extend the barn out and redo all of this so that they are all side by side instead of this alternating pattern. My question, of course, is, do we need that? How much cyan wool do we really need versus how much, blue wool or a brown wool, right? I don't know. So far, we don't have any need of wool. This is just sort of happening over here, and I'm not really paying attention to it. The way that I built this as well, it's impossible to get back there to check and see how the shears are doing. So at some point, we will need to make the barn longer, and we've got a whole year ahead of us. Well, no, we are approaching the end of the final month in the first third of the year, which means we are and this is the first month in the second quarter, depending on how you look at it, right? Depends on how you want to break up the year. It's the end of the fourth. We only got 8 months ahead of us. We're running out of time to do all the things we want to do. We have so much time ahead of us. I'm joking. We're not going to run out of time anytime soon. So let's have a look inside of here and grab all of the scaffolding, which I should have done. I've got some cooked cod. I'll tell you what. Should I have like a few loaves to go with this fish? Would that be a good call? Hold on just a second. I do think we have plenty of wheat in here in the form of hay bales. All right. A few small loaves and a couple of fish. Looky there. It's not quite the exact correct account, but there you go. I don't know about what time it is, but I'm thinking maybe we do go ahead and grab a bed. We should have grabbed some wool while we were down there. Do we have any wool up here? Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll do a white bed, that's fine. Dye it later if we decide to. Now we should... Oh, jeez! We should have everything we need for this build project. And even though this isn't going to be the biggest cross in the world, it should be big enough that we'll be able to see it pretty clearly from our house, through our bedroom window, which will be nice. And can I see the moon? The moon is right above me. We are halfway through the night. I think we will go ahead and sleep, and then we'll do the build project. But hopefully it turns out well. Hopefully the time-lapse looks good. I still haven't figured out exactly what the voiceover is going to be for yesterday's video that you've already watched. I keep thinking about it as a thing in the future, because for me it's a thing in the future. But you folks watched it yesterday. Probably just combine some different verses from the different Gospels and wing it, you know? Try to get the whole story through. But this will be fun. I think it's going to be, hopefully going to turn out to be a really good video. Is that tree back there in the way? Do I need to get rid of that tree? Is that going to kind of be distracting from the megastructure? I guess it's not really relevant to what we're doing, but I kind of feel like it would be better if there wasn't a tree back here. I'm not really sure what I had hoped to accomplish. Oh! Well, that bodes ill. We'll just say that was the act of the devil, right? And we'll carry on. Oh, no, I forgot that I was doing this in survival for some reason. Of course there's going to be horrible monsters out and about. Oh, please, please, please drop the final piece of armor I need. Oh, darn you. This is not how I wanted this to start. This is not the process I wanted us to go through for this. Now it's gone from, we have to spend the whole night, you know. Oh, geez, is that the sun coming up? Oh, no. We had so much time, and then I decided for whatever reason that I needed to have a race against the clock in the final hours. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could just go in the other room where the server is running and change the time to exactly, like, early morning hours if I wanted to, instead of, like, rushing to get this thing broken down before we start. This is more thrilling. This is more exciting. There we go. Perfect. Break that. I wish I could do some sort of a signal to indicate to myself in editing. There we go. I mean, that's not going to blow up or anything, but that's going to mark where I need to start the actual time-lapse video. Look at the sun coming up. Oh, this is going to look so good. Now I got to get over there and actually start the process. And it's a bit of a meandering. Jeez, hold on. Let me get that stick. We're going to fly. And I'm going to eat one of the bread. So here we are, and I've got quite a bit of the pale oak on me already. So I'm just going to go ahead and start placing that down. And probably what we'll end up doing is just building up the center structure. And I will just walk along it as we go. I don't have any sort of special patterns or anything we'll be following to make this efficient. I thought about leaving the back open, actually, so we can get in and out of here. And, I mean, I don't know what we would put in here, but give me ideas. What would you put inside of a cross? I like the concept. I certainly do like the concept. So if we go up a level here, put the torches on the walls, and then to either side of what will ultimately end up being, I guess, the door, the entrance here, like so. And maybe we do one of those blocks that doesn't have an end there or something like that. I'm not sure. I didn't think this through, alright? This is an idea that I've just had right now. Well, no, I did think about having the cross be hollow, but I also thought about having it be a lot bigger than it's going to end up being. So what are we at right now? That's 1, 2, 3. This is not level 4. I need to remember that so I can remember exactly how high up we've gone. So that's 4. I'm probably not going to talk a lot during this build. 4, so that'll be 5, 6, 7, and 8, because why not? 9 and 10, and I can't jump that high. I should have seen that coming. You get used to a life with the beacons. You get used to being able to jump that high. 11 and 12, 13 and 14, 15 and 16, 17, 18. Can I go up to 19? No. That is 19. That is 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Almost at 2010. 30, 31, 32, and if you're wondering why 33 tall, it's because it's widely believed that Christ began his ministry at 33, which I thought that would make for a nice reference, and also, it's just a good height to build to, considering the number of blocks that we have. We could go higher if we wanted to, but my concern is if we go too tall, it'll start to look silly if we don't then also make it larger. So my original test build did not have these corner bits. It was just 3 by 3 by... It was a big square, basically. And it looked a little rough. So I did another test build with the corners. And this started to look pretty good. Now we got to figure out how high up to make the actual cross portion of the cross. Right now what we have is a giant post. And it is pretty big. That is pretty big. I like that. That's going to look... I mean, again, not as big as I wanted it to be. Maybe in the future we make a bigger one. But for now, if we wanted to leave it maybe, let's say, 5 from the top. Or something along those lines. I'm going to start placing this down right here. I do wonder what all of this is going to look like when you watch it back on the... Like, are you even able to see me doing this? If I'm watching it from a very small preview window on OBS, so it's hard for me to see in the time-lapse screen what this is going to look like. But if we go down from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have this be here, right? Or have that be down there. Yep. And then to kind of go with the whole rounded look. Ooh, actually, hold on. There, and then this one needs to be one lower. So we might actually lose these, but we'll go pick them up in a bit. If we leave them really short, it'll look less like a cross and more like the conduit from Xenoblade Chronicles. Or the Zohar from other Xeno games, right? Which is not the look we're going for, but I do need to sort of just, like, experiment a little bit here and figure out exactly, well... It's a good thing we got on good boots. Good high-quality boots that help prevent death from falling, because that would be an unfortunate circumstance to have occur. Death from falling at this height right now while building the cross of all things. I mean, there would be an irony to it, certainly. Where did that go? Hello? Did that just make it go up higher? No. Come back. So this would go down 3. And then here... And then here. Oh, hey, we finally used up all of those. Well, the good news is, if we have a look inside of the clutter crate, we've got plenty more. Like I said, we have way more than we need. I definitely over-collected because I didn't do any sort of math beforehand to determine how much we would need. And I realized when I did math after the fact that we had more than we needed, but not as much as I would have liked. Again, because in my mind, I wanted this to be a big mega structure. So... Is that about the right height? That's the thing, right? Like, that's the reason I haven't built it all the way out yet, is I want to make sure that's an appropriate height. Oof. I mean, it could be lower. Maybe it'll look better when it's further out. It might not be end up being 33 tall. It might end up being a little taller at this point, because I've already gone through all the effort of building that. And at this point, what we might end up doing is, instead of moving it down, just make it taller. But so far, so good. I've got to say, so far, so good. Let's head back up. We'll make it a bit wider out. So right now, it is protruding from the main structure 2 blocks. Let's go out. We'll go out 6 blocks, is what I said. 6 on either side. And we'll kind of see how that looks. And once we have a general idea of how we feel about this side, we'll mirror it on the other side. Once we're comfortable with it. Once we're kind of sure we've worked it out. So that's 3 right there. 4, 5, 6, and then bring the rest of these out to match. We're going to want to leave torches inside of here. Otherwise, this could become a horrible mob spawning area. You know what I mean? And now that I think about it, we should probably leave some lights up at the top as well. Just so that things don't spawn on those very few tiles up at the top. But let's go ahead and toggle F8. And if I just leave 1 torch right here, is that going to get the job done? Kind of looks like yes, that'll be fine. We'll raise it up 1 so it's dead center. That looks pretty decent. Cool. I like the fact that you could perch inside of here if you wanted to. Maybe we close off the ends at some point, but I see no reason to not leave it hollow. It's not going to hurt anything. And yeah, I think that looks fine. Again, maybe a little too far up. And we'll see as we go. Let's build the other side. I've got to say, this is going rather quickly. I don't know how long I expected it to take, but I certainly expected it to take longer than this. And so far, so good. So this is the level where we're going to be building it here. If I can build off in that direction instead of building up, there we go. I mean, that's almost what I wanted. Well, that was a mistake. Fine, though. Perfectly fine, though. How about this? There we go. So now I am standing at a level with where it's going to be built. That would happen. But fortunately, we have a lot of these. I just remembered that I don't actually have to walk out and look at this thing with my own personal avatar. I can just look again at the preview window for... Or I could just look over at the other screens. What am I doing? There's a screen sitting next to me on this desk that's got the feed from Micah's PC on it. I could just look directly at it and tell you that as of right now, this is looking a little bit wonky. I'm thinking maybe these need to be longer. That's just how I'm feeling about it right now. We'll see, you know, whether or not that turns out. But it looks a little wonky. I'm thinking we might want to make the whole thing taller. Oh, also, monsters can still spawn on the tops of these blocks, on the tops of the parts that protrude, like on the roofs of this, which I hadn't considered, which would not be great, and would also kind of ruin the video, honestly, if that happened. Something's not right. Hold on. Yep, nope, there we go. Figured it out. I guess I need to figure out what color of carpet very closely matches the pale oak, and I can sort of set that on the tops so that things don't spawn up on top of there without it also looking wacky. Now, granted, most people will only ever see it from the bottom, so even something as simple as the brown, right, which certainly wouldn't match perfectly, but the brown carpet would match enough, especially when you consider no one's ever going to see it from above unless they're flying. Most people only ever see it from a distance or from down below, so I think it'll be okay. The time lapse is above it, so that wouldn't necessarily be great, I guess. Okay, so again, just looking at the time lapse, this definitely doesn't look right. Yeah, no, it needs to be taller. Alright, we're gonna have to go taller. Oh, jeez. Leave me alone. Go away. The idea of it being 33 was good. I liked that. But let's do 35. Yeah, that looks a little bit better, but then these also need to go out a little bit more. So we will have these go out. Let's see. Oh. Let's just go out 2 blocks for now. And in fact, I can just do this side and then look at the preview window and see if that looks better. And it does. I'm wondering if maybe these sides are too bulky, though. If they might not be smaller. If we should shrink them down so they don't sit flush with the front of it. If maybe that would look a little bit better. I don't know. I don't know. That didn't come up during the trial build. I didn't try that. Now's not the time for experimentation. Now is the time to get it done. You know what I mean? I really don't want to fall right now, because even though I would absolutely survive it, all the monsters down there would become a bit of an issue. Look, there's a zombie villager down there, and he's got one of my... Oh, gosh darn you. He's got one of my scaffoldings, which is upsetting. All right, let's get a little bit of distance on it. And we'll have a little bit of a look at it here. So from a distance... Okay. Yeah. Maybe a little bit taller, right? Are you with me here? Or is this about right? I just feel like maybe if it was 1 block taller, it would be nearing perfection. Well, 36 blocks, and I'm actually moving over to stand right in front of the other screen and say that, yes, that is it, right there. Actually, it might be too tall now. It might have looked better when it was 1 block shorter. I'm not joking. Hold on, should the sides be equal to the amount above it? Does that makes sense? That could be it. Hold on, so how tall is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? We're done. That's it, right there. Although, actually, having said that now, let me actually go back up to the top one more time. Oh, the sun is rising, too. We could have, like, perfect timing on this. Hold on, let's set these down here like this, so they're actually not visible up over the edges. Has a nice glow coming out of the top. There we are. And then down we go. Oh, gosh, there's creepers. So we're just going to, like, run quickly and break all of these and try to get the creepers away from the structure so that whatever fight now has to happen down here happens, hopefully, off camera. Nope, it's all going to happen on camera. I'm just going to keep going then. Okay. Down here, I should definitely be off camera. It's safe to deal with this, the increasing threat of the Separatists. Sometimes Star Wars quotes just come to mind. I don't know. More readily sometimes than Bible verses, which I think is probably concerning for me. Go away. Don't be doing this to me. Oh, that shot looks fantastic on the camera. That shot looks so good on the time-lapse camera. Oh, I'm very happy. I'm very pleased with how this turned out. This is very good. So hopefully everything recorded properly, because I didn't do a split-screen recording test to make sure. But I'm using the same OBS settings that I do when Micah and I record, and that always turns out okay. This is being recorded in ultra-wide 1440p, so what is that, 5160 or something like that by 1440, something along those lines, in order to get the two screens side by side in the same video, basically. And it'll be blown up to 4K. It'll be you won't even notice. It'll look visually identical to the normal video. No one's ever noticed that Micah and I, when we do our videos, they're not really 4K. They're two 1440p videos that have just been expanded. I would like to go back up top and collect my stuff, but I want to let this play out long enough that I know I'm going to have enough sort of footage for the video. Oh, it looks good, especially with the pink in the background. Why do it look so good? Look at that. Look at that. That is great. Okay, well, folks, I guess that does it for us here today. I hope that you have enjoyed this little build log and that you enjoyed yesterday's video. And starting tomorrow, we will be back at it trying to expand the island. I think what we'll do tomorrow is we are going to attempt to build a machine that will generate sand for us. And then all we have to do is wait for the machine to run for like 20 minutes, and then we go into the end and collect it. But we have to have some sort of end collection device. I'm not really sure. I've watched a couple of videos. I'm going to watch a couple more. But until then, thank you folks all so much for watching. God bless each and every single one of you. I will see you later. Goodbye.